Hello, Bub's Comics here, coming at you with a comic haul from the Lexington Comic and Toy Convention in Lexington, Kentucky. It was their Fall Fan Fest, formerly Swaptember. So what they did before for Swaptember was it was just comics and nothing else. But this year they changed it. They made it a Fall Fan Fest. So now it was all manners of fandom, collectibles, toys, but no celebrities other than comic book creators and artists. So that was pretty cool. First time they had done that, and from what I understand, the attendance went up a bunch. I think I went to one of the September Swap Fest before. Scheduling was always an issue with it, but this year I made it happen. It worked out really well, and got to go, and it was freaking awesome. Went ahead and got my VIP attendee early pass, and it was just great. Had a great time and picked up some of the best books I've ever picked up at a con, and let's show one of them right now. We got Daredevil #1. There's a short story and a long story on this, but I'll give you both. How about that? So the short story is I didn't go to this con with the intention of picking up any big books. I was there to get Steranko's signatures. He was there, and I picked up 7 of those. And then I was there to get dollar books to fill out my run. So I was just going to dig through the dollar bins, which is something I haven't done at a convention in like a year. I've been hunting all these big books at these cons, and I kind of left the dollar bins alone. So this year I was going to hit the dollar bins at this convention. Well, I ended up going by because I was one of the first people there. There was only like 50 of us that had this pre-attendee pass. So I only paid $15 more for this thing. So to be there an hour before everybody else, if you're there to hunt comics, why wouldn't you want to be the first one to the comics? But anyway, and I went to this booth, and he had 2 Daredevil #1s. Turns out that this guy was a sports collectibles salesman. Him and his buddy were into sports cards. And they had a little sports shop, and the sports shop was going under, and people kept bringing comics to them, trying to trade them and trying to ask them if they had comics and comic type collectibles. And the guys didn't have any of that, so they invested in buying some collections. They went to estate sales and crap like that, and picked up a bunch of books. I don't know how they were pricing them, but they were pricing them, and then they put them up for sale. And this is a low-grade Daredevil. And he had 2 of them. He had this one, and he had another one that was in much better shape. This one is about a 0.5. Honestly, it's a 0.5. I know it looks better than that because I've cleaned it. But certainly when I first saw it, it was a 0.5. And it has all manner of like tape residue there where someone put like some kind of tape on it. And it's, detached and all. I mean, this book couldn't have more problems. But this was a book I kind of struck off my list. I didn't think I'd end up owning it. I was hunting it real hard for a while this year, early part of the year. I didn't put it on my want list for the year because I was real conservative with my want list. I didn't think I'd be able to get this book. But I ended up scoring this book, and I'll tell you the price because it's part of the story. So I ended up getting this book for $300, and it was awesome. He had another book that was $400, and I would say it was probably a 2.5, maybe a 2, and maybe a 3 after I could clean it and press it because it was fully attached. But it was in rough shape, and it had a name written on it, which I really don't care for. That's one thing. If there's writing on the book, if it's a name, I usually just something about it turns me off. And I bought books that had names written on them, and I usually end up regretting the purchase. So I didn't want to go down that route. So I really debated whether to get the $400 one. That was a better rated book, better graded book, but not as desirable to me because of the writing, or to get this one for $300. And then I decided, well, shoot, I'll just take both. So I go up to the guy, I'm like, I'll sell one, keep the other, whatever. So I try and get both, and he's like, yeah, I take cash only. Well, shoot, man, I just blew like $140 on Steranko SIGs, so I didn't have any cash on me. So anyway, long story short, after doing all the financing and running around, it took me like 20 minutes to come up with the cash. It was like 15 minutes, about 15 minutes to come up with the cash. And in that manner of time, he had already sold the $400 one. Snooze, you lose. Bring cash to the cons. Cash is king. Everybody will tell you that. I didn't think I had to bring $1,000 to this con, but such as it was, I'd been happier if I had. So anyway, got this book. This is the one that I like better anyway. It's the one I'm going to keep. So very happy with this one. $300 for my Daredevil #1. The steal of the year for me. That's the purchase of the year right here. Next we got Amazing Spider-Man 41. Actually bought it from the same guy later in the day. I won't bother to tell you what I paid for that. It wasn't bad though. And if you've caught my earlier video, I did a small pressing video. I'm going to do some of these 1 minute pressing videos. So I did a 1 minute pressing video on this. And there you go. First appearance of the Rhino, ASM 41. Awesome, awesome book. And then we got this X-Men 95. I was missing this one in my run of getting all the early Wolverine appearances. And I'm still missing 96, I think. So I need to get that one. And I know with all the Moira stuff, that one's turned up a little bit. But that'll cool down. That's all flash in the pan stuff. So glad to have this one, X-Men 95. Very, very awesome. That's the death of Warbird, I think, or whatever his name is. So there you go. X-Men 95. It's like the third or fourth appearance of Wolverine, depending how many of them you count. And last but not least, we have DC Superman number 199. It's the first race between the Flash and Superman. So, you know, this is not a big, huge book, but these are all the books that I spent more than $1 on, so I thought I'd show them. And this one was in pretty good shape, and you know, for the price, I couldn't leave it there, so I was happy to have that book too. So anyway, that's my quick haul. Hope y'all enjoyed that. And that's my big boy books from the con that I just didn't expect to happen. That Daredevil number 1, I can't tell you how much I wrote this off my list. I took them off my search on eBay. I wasn't looking for the book anymore. I was tired of it. The book was just too expensive. This book goes for, even in a 0.5, it goes for like $600. I just didn't think I was going to end up with it. So in order to get it, I just couldn't believe it. I just couldn't believe getting this. I'm going to do some work on it. I'm going to keep working on it. It hasn't been pressed yet. It has been cleaned. I cleaned it. And then I'm going to keep working on it and see if I can get a nice 0.5 green label on it, basically is what I'm going for, a 0.5 green. So we'll see how it goes. I want it to show complete and with qualified, because it's detached, so that's all it can be. So there you go. Hope y'all enjoyed that, and we'll catch you next time on Bub's Comics. Thanks. Read a comic. Bye.